Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Satgurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram Manojavam Marudhatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatajam Vanarayudamukyam Sri
Ramadutam
Ram Santoshi Jagannata Mama Saubhagyavriddhaye Namaskaromi Bhaktya Prasanna Varada Bhava Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kridau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaigamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashandaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Satchitanandarupaya Vishwopatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayakacharuchapam Namami Ramam Rekuvanchanatham. Krishna Rakshatu Mam Charachara Guru Krishnam Namasye Sada Krishne Naiva Surakshito Hamasagrat Krishnaya Dattam Manaha Krishna Deva Samudbhavo Mama Vibho Krishnasya Dasosmyaham Krishne Bhakti Rasanchalastu Bhagavan He Krishna Tubhyam Namaha He Krishna Tubhyam Namaha. So we were seeing last class Kaliya Mardana. So Bhagavan entered Kalindi for the purpose of purifying the river so that the people around that Kalindi Nadi, the inhabitants and the birds, animals, etc., they can freely move about without fearing the poison of Kaliya. So he entered the Kalindi, seeing the sound of the jumping. Kaliya got angry, infuriated, and with the intention of killing the intruder, he attacked Bhagavan with all his force. He coiled around the body of Krishna. Almost he could not see, he was not visible. But Bhagavan slipped out of that grip and got onto the hoods of Kaliya. Generally, it is said Kaliya had 5 heads, but here Bhattatri says there are 1,000 heads. That is the difference. I don't know from where he got that. He must have referred to some other scriptures. Anyway, that is where we stopped last time. Now continuing Dasakam 56. Who is chanting today?
Swamiji, me, Nirmala. Ruchirakampiта kundala mandalaha Suchiramisha nanarthita pannage Amaratadita dundubhi sundaram Viyati gayati daivata yauvate.
Hey Isha, all-powerful Lord, Daivatayorvate, Daivatayorvate, Daivatayauvate. As the host of celestial damsels, Daivata Yauvate, Daivata Yauvate. Host of celestial damsels, Gayati Sati Viyati, sang in the sky, Amaratatita Dundupi Sundaram. The sweet sound of drum played on by gods. Ruchira Kampita Kundala Mandita Nanartita Pannake Suchiram. You with ear ornaments moving in rhythm danced on the serpent Kaliya for a long time. Bhagavan was a great dancer. So he danced. Now look at this. Dance also. Kalindi Nadi is flowing. And Kaliya, serpent hood is slippery. And on that slippery hoods, Bhagavan has to jump from one to the other. It is not an easy balancing. That he was dancing rhythmically with beautiful steps. Continuing.
Namati yadyadamushya shirohare Parivihaya munnatam Parimathan pada pankaruhachiram Vyaharathah karatala manoharam.
Namati yatyada. Hey Hare, O Krishna, destroyer of the arrogance of the wicked. Hari also mean Haran, the one who destroys, removes, steal away. What is the pride of the wicked? Parivihaya tat amushya, leaving the hood on his kaliyas. Yat siraha namati. So whichever head drooped. Parimathan unnatam, stamping on that head which was raised. So one head, when Bhagavan put his foot on, that head will go down. Then the other one will come up. So Bhagavan jumped on the other. It's like this, it was going on, jumping up and down. Pada pangaruha, with your lotus feet. Karatala manohara, charmingly keeping time with your hands. Bhagavan was very good in talam, so he was clapping along with his steps. Tvam vyaharatha chiram, you did sport on the hoods of Kaliya for a long time. Continuing.
Tvadava bhagna vibhugna phanagane Galita shonita pathasi Phanipatava vasidadi sannataha Tadabalastava madhava padayoho.
Pranipatau avasitati sati. and the king of serpent was exhausted. Panipatau avasidati sati. So he became exhausted because Bhagavan's foot was not ordinary foot. It was Lord's foot. It may look small, but it was a heavy blow on his head. Tota abhava, tota vabhagna vibhukna panagane. Tota vabhagna vimukna panagane. With hoods drooped, being stamped upon by you. Galita shonita pathasi. Now with the waters reddened due to profuse bleeding. Hey Madhava, O Krishna, consort of goddess Lakshmi. Madhava means the consort of the goddess of prosperity. Now, Tadabalaha, those women, the wives of Kaliya, Sannataha Tava Padayoho, they came up and prostrated at your feet, lotus feet. And then, what did they say?
Aipuraiva chiraya parishruta tvadanubhava vilina hridohitaha munibhirapya navapya pathaistavaihi nunuvurisha bhavantamantritam.
He Ayi Isha Pura Eva Chiraya. O Lord, since long, for quite some time, Parishruta Tvadanubhava Vilina Hridaya. Their mind completely absorbed in you on account of hearing your greatness. Because these wives of Kaliya, they heard the glories of Krishna. Ta nunuvuhu bhavantam ayantritam. They praised you in an unrestrained manner. Means openly they start praising you profusely.
Super.
Tavaihi anapyapathaihi.
Ayan, beso siya. Diyan, beso.
Binduvan,
Yes.
just muted.
Oh, sorry.
Ta nunuvuhu bhavantam ayantritam. They praised you in an unrestrained manner. Stavai anapyapathaihi. By hymns that are beyond the reach of even great sages, Munibihi api. So they started praising Bhagavan. There's a beautiful hymn they composed that comes in Bhagavatam. Continuing.
Hanivadu gana bhakti vilokana pravikasat karuna kula chetasa phanipatir bhavatachuta jivitaha tvai samarpita murtiravanamate.
Hey Achyuta, O imperishable one, Panipatihi Jivitaha Bhavata. The serpent chief, his life having been spared by you, they requested Bhagavan that don't make us widows. He has received punishment enough from you for his arrogance. that you are compassionate, you will not kill him. So you have spared his life for us. Panivathujana bhakti vilokana pravika satkarana ula chetasa, whose mind was filled with compassion, which swelled on seeing the devotion of the serpent wife. Even though Bhagavan was angry with Kaliya, but seeing the devotion and humility of the wives, he spared Kaliya's life. Avanamate, prostrated before you, samarpita murti tvai, and surrendered themselves to you. There were two wives. Continue.
रमणकं व्रजवारिधि मध्यगं फणिरिपुर्न करोति विरोधिताम् इति भवद्वचनान्यतिमानयन् फणिपतिर्निरगादुरगैः समम्.
Bhagavan commanded Kaliya to go away from Kalindi Nadi. Kaliya asked, what shall I do? What can I do? I cannot bear your jumping over my hood. It is something like Mahaveru Parvatam is on my head. So Bhagavan said, you go from here. So, but then he said, wherever I go, Garuda will follow me. He will kill me, eat me up. So what will I do? So Bhagavan said, you go to this Ramanaka island in the middle of the ocean, and he will not touch you because he will see my footprints. He will not touch you. So Atimanayan Bhavat Vajanani, greatly respecting your words. Vraja Varithi Madhyakam, you may go to the island located in the mid-ocean. Ramanakam Yatra Paniripuhu, called Ramanakam, where the serpent enemy Garuda Nakaroti Virothitam will not harm you. Thus Bhagavan iti Phanipati Niragad. Thus the chief of serpents departed Samam Uragaihi along with his family, friends. By family means wives and children. He must have had children also. The whole family left for Ramanaka island. Thus Kalindi Nadi was totally purified. Continuing.
फणिवधूजनदत्तमणिव्रज ज्वलितहारदुकूलविभूषितः तटगतैः प्रमदाश्रुविमिश्रितैः समगता स्वजनैर्दिवसावधौ.
Pani Vathujana Datta Mani Vraja Jolita Hara Dukula Vibhushitaha. So, these wives of Kaliya, they presented to Bhagavan silk garment and pearl necklaces set with brilliant gems. So that Tvam Samagadaha Divasavadhau. So Bhagavan took all of them, accepted all of the gifts, and Bhagavan showed brilliant with those upaharas. Before they left for Ramanakam island with Kaliya, the serpent wives offered to you beautiful silk garments and pearl necklaces set with brilliant gems. And by the time it is already dusk, Tvam samagadaha divasavatau. You join at the end of the day. So janai tadagadaihi, your own people who had gathered in the banks of the river. Pramadashru vimishitaihi. They were shedding tears of joy. Your people, including Nanda and others, were gathered on the river bank, shedding tears of joy on witnessing your dance. Continuing.
निशिपुनस्तमसा व्रजमन्दिरं व्रजितुमक्षम एव जनोत्करे स्वपिति तत्र भवच्चरणाश्रये दवकृशानुररुन्धसमन्ततः
Janotkare swapati sati tatra bhavat charanashraye. While the crowd of Gopas was sleeping on the river bank, because it was already in the dark, so they don't want to travel back to the village through the forest. So they took refuge. They thought they will sleep there only. And taking refuge at your lotus feet, Akshame Vrajitum Vrajamandiram, unable to return to their home in Gokulam. Punaha Nishieva Tamasa, in the night itself, on account of darkness, Dava Krishanu Arundhya Samantadaha. And at that time, a forest fire spread all around.
प्रबुदितानथ पालय पालयेति उदयदार्तरवान् पशुपालकान् अवितुमाशु पपात महानलं किमिह चित्रमयं खलु ते मुखम्
Avitum Pashupalakan, in order to save the cowherds. Atha Prabhutitan, who were by that time awakened. Udayadartaravan, who were raising piteous cries loudly. Iti palaya palaya, saying that please save us, save us. Tvam ashu papatha mahanalam, you quickly consumed, mean drank that great fire. Kim chitram iha, what is there to wonder of this? What is that wonder in this? Because I am kalute mukham. This fire verily is your own mouth. So Bhagavan Vishwarupa Darshanam, from his mouth alone fire comes. Khad Indrascha Knischa. Therefore, he is consuming fire. There is no wonder. Continuing.
शिखिनि वर्णत एव हि पीतता परिलसत्यधुना क्रिययाप्यसौ इति नुतः पशुपैर्मुदितैर्विभो हर हरे दुरितैः सह मे गदान्
Varnataha evahi, by color, guna, description alone, pitata bhavati shikhini, there is yellowness in fire. Athuna asau parilasati, now this fire shines. Kriyaya api, by action too, by the act of having been consumed. Iti nutaha mutitaihi pashubhaihi tvam. Thus praised by the joyous Gopas. E Vibho Hare, O omniscient Krishna, destroyer of sorrows, Arame Gadan Saha Duritaihi, eradicate my illness along with my sins. Generally, illness comes because of our past karmas. So, Bhattadri here says, I am going through this suffering because of my past sins. So you remove this disease along with the cause, that is sin also. Now Kalya Mardana represents the 5-hooded snake represent 5 senses living the poisonous waters of sense pleasures. Sense objects are more poisonous than poison. Poison only when you drink, you get killed. But sense objects are such that even looking at it, you get affected. Therefore, this is what Bhagavan said significantly. The sense or the mind living in the 5 senses, mind running through 5 senses, living in the poisonous waters of sense pleasures. Now, next dasakam is Pralambasura. Pralambasura.
रामसखः क्वापि दिने कामद भगवन् गतो भवान् विपिनं सूनुभिरपि गोपानां धेनुभिरभिसंवृतो लसद्वेषः
Ramasakaha Kwapi Dine. Hey Bhagavan, Kamadaha. O Lord, who fulfill wishes of all devotees. Kwapi Dine Bhavan Ramasakaha. One day, you in the company of Balarama. Lasat Veshaha Apisambrataha. Well adorned and surrounded by Sunubihi Gopanam Denubihi Api. The children of Gopas and by cows too. Gataha Vipinam went to the forest. One day you bedecked in flower garlands, peacock feathers and the like, went to the forest in the company of Balrama and Gopa boys to graze cows. Ramasakaha. Ramasakaha here means in the company of Balrama. Now, continuing.
सन्दर्शयन् बलाय स्वैरं वृन्दावनश्रियं विमलां काण्डीरैः सह बालैः भाण्डीरकमागमो वटं क्रीडन्
Sandarshayan Balaya, pointing out to Balrama, Vimalam Vrindavanashriyam. The beautiful, the blemishless Vimalam, blemishless beauty of the Vrindavanam forest, Vrindavanashriyam. Swairam Kridan Balaihi Saha, and joyfully playing with the boys who were Kandirehi Tom Agamaha, carrying a staff of the cowherds, you reached Vatam Bhandiragam, the banyan tree called Bandiraka. So pointing out the beauty of Vrindavanam to Balrama, according to your fancy, you frolicking in the company of the cowherd boys who were carrying in their hands the cowherd staff, reached the banyan tree, popularly known as Bandiraka. It was a pleasant to play in the large shadow of that huge tree. Okay, continuing.
तावत्तावकनिधनस्पृहयालुः गोपमूर्तिरदयालुः दैत्यः प्रलम्बनामा प्रलम्बबाहुं भवन्तमापेदे
Tavat Daityaha Pralambanama. Then a demon by name Pralamba. Gopamurtihi Adayaluhu. Adayalu. Gopamurtihi. Disguised in the form of a cowherd boy. Adayaluhu. Merciless. Wicked. Tavaka Nithana Sprhayalu. And desirous of killing you. Apete Bhavantam Pralamba Bahum. Approached you who are endowed with long arms. That is why it's called Pralamba. He must be tall and what do you call? Long arms. Then.
जानन्नप्यविजानन्निव तेन समं निबद्ध सौहार्दः वटनिकटे पटुपशुप व्याबद्धं द्वन्द्वयुद्धम् आरब्धाः.
Janannapi Tvam, though you are aware of it. The moment he looked at it, even though he disguised as a Gopa, he recognized he is not Gopa because all of them he knows by name. And this one is extra. Immediately recognized. He must be a Rakshasa disguised. Avijanan Niva. But he pretended that he doesn't know. Seemingly ignorant. Nipadha Sauharda Tena Samam. And with much friendliness towards him. Arabdaha Dunda Yuddham. Commence the game of duel. Patu Pashupa Vyabatham Vatanikate. With skilled Gopa boys under the banyan tree. Now when the children are together, at that time they play. There were different games to time pass, you see. As you were children, you grew up, you had a lot of games. Nowadays, children don't have that luxury. They are all in front of the screen and then playing games. But our time, it was totally different. We are outside and playing different games. And this particular game was peculiar. What is going to describe that? Continue.
गोपान् विभज्य तन्वन् संघं बलभद्रकं भवत्कमपि त्वद्बलभीरुद्दैत्यं त्वद्बलगतमन्वमन्यथा भगवन्.
Hey Bhagavan, O Lord, Sangam Vibhajya Tanvan Gopan. Now they divided into two groups, two teams. Balabhadragam Bhavatkam Abhi. Now one group leader is Balarama. Another group leader is Bhagavan Krishna. Tvam Anvamanyatha Daityam. You allowed that Asura demon. Tvat Balabhirum Tvat Balagatam, who was afraid of your strength in your team. So Bhagavan allowed this Pralamba, disguised as a Gopa, to be in his team. Then what happened?
कल्पित विजय ध्रुवनहरे समरे परयूथगं स्वद्दैततरं श्रीदाममानमधत्ताः पराजितो भक्तदासतां प्रथयन्.
The rule of the game is whoever loses, that person has to carry the winner around that tree, sometime around that mountain. So that was the rule. So here Kalpita Vijetra Vahane, having decided that the loser would carry the winner. Tvam Parajitaha Samare Adathaha, you had been defeated in battle, carried Sridamanam, so Daitataram, Sridhama, who was very dear to you. So Bhagavan lost to Sridhama. Sridhama was a friend of Bhagavan Krishna. So he lost to him. So Bhagavan carried Sridhama. So here Bhattadri makes a comment here, was very dear to you. Bhakta dasatam, that you are a servant of your devotee to show, demonstrating parayudagam pradhamaya pradhayanna, and belong to the other camp, demonstrating that you are a servant of your devotee. So you even carried your friend Sridhama. This was, Bhagavan allowed Sridhama to win. That is the idea. Just to show this pralamba, what is coming.
Evam bahushu vibhuman baleshu vahatsu vahyamaneshu Rama vijita pralambaha jaharatam durato bhavadbhitya.
He Vibhuvan, Evam, O Krishna, the Supreme Being, in this manner. Bahushu baleshu vahatsu. While many boys were carrying their winners, Vahyamaneshu were being carried by their losers. Pralambaha Rama Vijitaha Jahara. Pralamba defeated by Balrama. Balrama defeated Pralamba. Now naturally Pralamba has to carry Balrama. Carried Tam Duradaha Bhavatpitya. So carried him, Balrama, off, far away, out of fear of you. Then continuing.
Tvaduram gamayantantam drishtva halini vihita garima bhare daityasvarupamagat yadrupat sahi balopi chakito bhut.
Drishtva tam gamayantam tvaduram. On seeing Pralamba carrying Balrama far away from Krishna, so Balrama became suspicious. Halini vihita gerima bhare sati. In order to ensure that the demon could not carry him any further, Balrama, who is an incarnation of Adishesha, made himself very heavy through his divine power of Garima power to increase one's weight, one of the 8 siddhis. Now, unable to carry the heavy weight, Daityaha Agaswarupam. The demon assumed his true form, abandoning his disguise as a gopa. Yat rupat saha hi balaha api abhut chakitaha. And on seeing that form, even Balarama, normally not one to get frightened by anything, became afraid. Continuing.
Uchataya daityatanoho tvanmukham alokya durato ramaha vigata bhayo drudamushtya bhrushadushtam sapadi vishtavanenam.
Uchataya Daityatanoho Ramaha. Due to the height of the demon's body, Balarama Alokyat Tvanmukham Durataha. After seeing your face from far, Vikada Bhayaha Sapati Pishtavan, and becoming devoid of fear, quickly crushed. Vishadushtam Yenam Dridamushtya, that very wicked demon with his powerful fist.
हत्वा दानववीरं प्राप्तं बलमालिलिङ्गितः प्रेम्णा तावन्मिलतोर्युवयोः शिरसि कृता पुष्पवृष्टिरमरगणैः
Tvam Alilingita Premna Balam. You did embrace with affection, Balarama, Praptam Hatva Danava Viram, who returned after slaying the mighty demon. Tavat Pushpa Vrishtihi Krita. Then there was a rain of flowers from the heavens. Sirasihi Yuvayoho Milatoho, on the heads of both of you who were together. Amaraganaihi, by the host of Devas. So that Pralamba was killed by Balarama. Continuing.
आलम्बो भुवनानां प्रालम्बं निधनमेव मारचयन् कालं विहाय सद्यः लोलम्बरुचे हरे हरे क्लेशान्
Hey Hare, Lolambarje, O Lord Hari, who has the hue of the dark bee. Alambaha Bhuvananam Evam, being the support for all the worlds, and thus Arachayan Nithanam Pralambam, carrying out the slaying of Pralambasura, Kalam Vihaya, may you without delay, Hare Kleshan Satya, eradicate my ailments now itself. Pralambasura stands for greed. The greed, the long hands represents greed. He wants to hoard everything. Now continuing Dasakam 58.
त्वयि विहरणलोले बालजालैः प्रलम्ब प्रमथन सविलम्बे धेनवस्वैरचाराः तृणुकुतकनिविष्टाः दूरदूरं चरन्त्यः किमपि विपिनमैषी काख्यमीशां बभूवुः
Toi viharana lole, when you are engrossed in play, bala jalaihi, with a group of boys, pralamba pramathana savilambe, and was delayed due to the slaying of Pralamba, Denavaha Swairacharaha, and the cows wandering on their own, Charantyaha Dura Duram, having gone far, far away, Trina Kutuka Nivishtaha Isham Babu, prompted by their eagerness of grass, reached the Kimapi Vipanam Aishikakyam, a forest by name Aishikam. So these people, because they were playing and they were concentrating on the Pralamba, at that time the cows looking for grass went far, far away in a different forest named Aishikavanam. Then
अनधिगत निदाघ क्रौर्य वृंदावनान्तात् बहिरिदमुपयाताः काननं धेनवस्ताः तव विरह विषण्णाः ऊष्मलग्रीष्मताप प्रसर विसरदम्भस् याकुलास्तम्भमापुः.
Though it was height of summer, its severity was not felt in Vrindavanam because of several factors, a number of cool, fresh water bodies, the multitude of trees with their green foliage in full bloom, overhanging with fruits, landscapes with their lush green grasslands, and above all, your benign presence. The cows had wandered away from such a region to the Aishikam forest in quest of forest grass. Having lost sight of you and the Gopa's boys, who got engrossed in the dual games and destruction of Plamba, they became sad, oppressed and exhausted by the scorching heat. They became increasingly thirsty. Having lost their way and becoming totally exhausted, they were at a loss to know what to do. They became scared and confused and stood motionless. The Aishikam forest is located outside Vrindavanam, and water is scarce there. So the only such grass that grows need not much water. It has use in making strong ropes, umbrellas, etc., and is not edible. The cows went there only because that grass looked tempting from a distance. So ta denavaha upayataha, those cows having reached idam kananam behihi, this forest outside, anathigata nitagha raurya vrindavanantat, Vrindavanam, where the cruel intensity of the heat of summer is not felt, tava virahi vishannaha, grieved at separation from you, and ushmala krishmatapa prasara visaradamba syakulaha, overcome by the thirst caused by the intensity of the heat of summer, which was increasing as the day advanced. Thambam apuhu, became totally exhausted. Continuing.
तदनु सहसहायैः दूरमन्विष्य शौरे गलितसरणिमुञ्जारण्यसञ्जातखेदम् पशुकुलमभिवीक्ष्य क्षिप्रमाणेतुमारात् त्वयि गतवतिः सर्वतोऽग्निर्जृम्भे.
Hey Shaure, O Krishna, born in the dynasty of Surasena, Shaure. Tadanu toi sahayai saha, thereafter when you along with your friends, Duram anvishya abhivikshya, after searching far and wide and seeing, Pashukulam Galita Sarani Munjaranya Sanjata Kedam. Thereafter, not seeing the herds of cows, you became worried and together with your friends set out in search of them. Though you went following their hoof marks and half-eaten grass, you did not find them. As a last resort, you called out to them by their individual names. Hearing your voice, the cows too responded with moving sounds from afar, and you started going in that direction. You saw the cows terribly oppressed by heat, unbearably thirsty, distressed and lost in the Aishika forest, which was full of unpalatable munja grass and devoid of water. Now brimming with compassion on seeing them in such a sad plight, You hasten to them in order to lead them back. The piteous thing that happened at that time in that forest was simply unthinkable. The forest fire broke out and spread all around. This incident was quite unlike the fire that had broken on the Yamuna river bank after the what you call Kaliya's episode. At that time, Nanda and the other Gopas were fast asleep and so did not realize that a fire had broken out or that it was spreading. It was only when the heat became unbearable that they realized the danger. In the present case, the situation is different. The grass in the Aishika forest was dry, and it only needed a spark in some corner for fire to break out and spread rapidly, aided by the wind. Chitreshu anarthaha bahuli bhavanti. Misfortune never strikes singly, many of them come together. The cows lost their way and got separated from the cow herd. They were extremely thirsty. As though these were not enough, now a fire also started raging all around. The Bhattadari expresses the agony of this tragic situation, overcome with anguish at misfortune coming one after another, when he explained, he anetum chipram he agnihi didrumbhe sarvataha. Fire broke out on all sides. Continuing.
Sakala hariti deepte ghora bhankara bhime shikhini vihata marga ardha dagda ivartaha ahaha bhuvana bandhaha pahi pahiti sarve sharanamupagatastvām tapahartaramekam.
Shikini Ghora Bhankara Bhime, as the fire, formidable with fearsome roaring sound. Deepte Sati Sakala Hariti, spread in all directions. Sarve Vihata Margaha, they all, with all escape routes cut off. Artaha Artadagdaha Iva, distressed as though half burnt. Sharanam upagadaha tvam ekam, sought refuge in you alone. Tapahartaram iti ahaha, the destroyer of sorrows, thus, alas, alas, Vanabandho pahi pahi, Krishna, the friend of the universe, save us, save us. Continuing.
Alamalamati bhitya sarvato milayadhvam drushamiti tava vacha militaaksheshu teshu kvanudavadahanosau kutra munjatavisa sapadiva vrutirete hanta bhandira deshe.
Atibhitya alam alam. Enough of this excessive fear. Enough, enough. Sarvataha drisham milayatvam. All of you. Bhagavan commanded all the gopas, even the cows, to close your eyes. Iti vacha tavateshu. At these words of yours, when they militaksheshu satsu hanta, remain with their eyes closed. What a miracle. Kwanu asau dava dahanaha. Where is that forest fire? Utrasa munjadavi. Where is that munja forest? Sapatite vavrtire. All of a sudden, they found themselves Bandira deshe, in the Bandira forest. Bhagavan transported all of them to a different forest with his Yoga Maya. Continue.
जय जय तव माया केयमीशेति तेषां नुतुभिरुदिदहासो बद्धनानाविलासः पुनरपि विपिनान्ते प्राचरः पाटलादि प्रसवनिकरमात्र ग्राह्य घर्मानुभावे।
Hey Isha, Tvam Jaya Jaya, O all-powerful Lord, hail, glory unto you. Ka iyam maya tava, how wonderful is this maya of yours. Utitahasaha iti nutipihi tesham, breaking into a smile at these praises of theirs. Vadda nana vilasaha, Baddha nana vilasa, you sporting in various ways. Pracharaha punarapi, vipinante, roamed about again in the heart of the forest. Pataladi prasava nikara matra grahya dharmanubhave, where the severity of summer would be inferred only from trees like Padala coming into full bloom. Patala, sorry, Padala, not Patala, Padala. So, in the forest, summer season was recognizable only because tree likes Patala. It is a saffron-colored trumpet flower, where in bloom. Continuing.
त्वयि विमुखमिवोचैः तापभारं वहन्तं तव भजन वदन्तः पङ्खमुच्छोषयन्तं तव भुजवदुदञ्चद् भूरितेजः प्रवाहं तपसमयमनैषीः यामुनेषु स्थलेषु।
Tvam anaishihi staleshu yamuneshu. You did spend in the region on the banks of Yamuna, tapasamayam, in the summer season. Toi vimukham iva, which like one who is indifferent towards you. Summer season looks like indifferent to Bhagavan. Vahantam uchchehi tapabharam, was bearing the excessive burden of sins, was bearing the burnt of the excessive heat summer. Tava bhajanavat, and which likes the worship of you. Uchoshayantam pankam antaha, was driving off the suffering from the interior mind. Tava bhujavat, and which like your raised arms. Uchchat puriteja prabhavam, at the glory of ever increasing effulgence. So the idea is, this sloka describes the summer season with a full of poetic imagery. The season with its intense heat is likened to a person who had turned away from the Lord and is in consequence undergoing the effects of the tapatraya, the three types of suffering, adhyatmikam, adibhautikam, adidevigam, reeling under the burden of samsara. Service to the Lord, which banishes all impurities in the self by destroying without trace all sins and emotions of lust, anger, and the like of the devotees. So there is a pun there, tapa and pankam, which means also heat and mud. The poet applies them literally to mean drying up the mud that lies at the bottom of the water bodies. The season is also compared to the exceptionally valorous arms of the Lord, having the increasing brilliance of the sun. Continuing.
तदनु जलदजालैः त्वद्वपुस्तुल्यभाभिः विकसदमलविद्युत् पीतवासो विलासैः सकलभुवनभाजां हर्षदां वर्षवेलां क्षितिधरकुहरेषु स्वैरवासी व्यनैषीः
Tadanutvam Venaishihi Soiravasi. Thereafter, you did spend time living happily. Shitidara Kuhareshu Varshavelam. In the caves of mountain during the rainy season. Arshadam Sakala Bhuvana Bhajam. That gives joys to all inhabitants of the world. Jalada Jalehi. On account of the rain-bearing clouds. Tvat babus tulya bhabihi. O splendor equal to that of your body. Vikala sadamala vidyut pita vaso vilasaihi. With brilliant streaks of lightning, which are the beauty of your yellow silk garment. Continuing.
कुहरतलनिविष्टं त्वां गरिष्ठं गिरीन्द्रः शिखिकुलनवकेका काकुभैस्तोत्रकारी स्फुटकुटजकदम्बस्तोमपुष्पाञ्जलिं च प्रविदधदनुभेजे देवगोवर्धनोऽसौ
Hey Deva, O God, the illusory human being. Asau Govardhanaha Girindraha. This Govardhana, the king of mountains. Anubheje Tvam Garishtam. Its service to you of superlative glory. Uharatala Nivishtam, who had entered its caves. Stotrakari Shikekulanava Keka Kakupihi. By praising you with hymns made of pleasant cooing of peacocks. Pravidatcha sputa kutacha kadambastoma pushpanjalim. And by making a shower of heaps of blossom of kutaja and kadamba trees. As if the mountain is worshipping you with Ashtotra and Sahasranama Archana by giving the flowers of Kadamba trees. Continuing.
अथ शरदमुपेतां तां भवद्भक्तचेतः विमलसलिलपूरां मानयन् काननेषु तृणममलवनान्ते चारुसञ्चारयन् गाः पवनपुरपते त्वं देहि मे देहसौख्यम्
Ye Pavanapurapate, Lord of Guruvayur. After the rains, autumn set in. The waters of the rivers and lakes in the forest became as clean and pure as the hearts of the devotees that had rid of lust, hatred and the like, that transparent like crystal. And you who are engaged in locating and leading the cows into new pastures in the forest region, which after the rains had become clean and overgrown with fresh lush green grass, may you be pleased to kindly grant me freedom from ailments and good health. Thus complete that dasakam also. The next dasakam is the melody of flute. How enchanting is the beauty of Bhagavan, flute music. That is also very beautiful. We shall see that in our next class. Next Saturday, I will not be here. I am traveling. Next Saturday and following Saturday also, I will not be here. We'll see you after 2 Saturdays. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.